Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome back to Ibrox after Rangers' convincing 4-0 win over St Johnstone this afternoon. It was a pretty enjoyable football game all in all after a slightly slow start. Different scorers. Malik Tillman, who for me made a real impact throughout, got Rangers up and running within the first. I think it was late in the first half, but deserved. Rangers hadn't really tested the keeper at all, to my memory, by that point. But Malik Tillman put them ahead with another looping header. It was 2-0 soon after. Not soon after. 2-0 in the second half after Rabi Matondo won the ball high up the pitch, and then converted his sliding tackle. As it was converted by Antonio Cholak. An excellent finish for Cholak, who scored now 3 poachers goals in as many games, which is exactly what he was brought in to do at Ibrox. 3-0. Soon after that, Scott Arfield coming off the bench, getting on the end of a Rabi Matondo cutback after Ryan Jack had played the winger through on goal. Matondo went around the keeper and pulled the ball back to make it 3-0. And then Arfield, after good work by Tavernier, laid on a plate for Tom Lawrence to make it 4. So, as I say, a very positive day, I think, for Rangers all in all. 4 different goal scorers, a real impact from the bench. The likes of Tillman, who for me was definitely my man of the match, continues to impress. But Matondo looked to be getting up to speed with 2 assists as well today, which is impressive. Then you consider as well the impact of players from the bench. That 5 subs again used by Van Bronckhorst, and that's what you want, because not only does it boost the goal difference and whatnot, but it keeps the pressure on and keeps the players fresh. It allows the team to play with a real intensity for the 90 minutes. So all in all, a really positive game, and I thought Rangers, although they struggled to break down St Johnstone somewhat in the first half, they were always in control, and as is kind of customary with Rangers playing at Ibrox in the league, they grew with the game and were far stronger in the second half. So plenty of positives. New players seem to be clicking. Let me know who you thought was particularly impressive. As I see some comments start to come in here. As routine a win, as you'll see. Mark says Rabi is dynamo. Yeah, Matondo was excellent today, really quick, and I thought he backed that up with end product. Wins the ball back superbly well for the second goal, which is kind of, I guess, a deciding goal in a game like this. And then goes in. It looked like he was going to be 1-on-1 with keeper. Takes it round, shows the composure to just pull the ball back for Scott Arfield to pick out a simple finish and make it 3-0. So I agree with Mark. I thought it was a really good performance from Rabi Matondo today. Frank gets in touch to say, watch the game in Bali with the Bali Bears. That sounds nice, Frank. The weather's actually quite good here as well, but I'm sure not as good as it is in Bali. Gary gets in touch to say, never know what you'll get with Borna. Pretty good today. And if he keeps that up, Yilmaz will have a battle on his hands to get into the first team. Yeah, been speaking to the manager not that long ago, and competition is kind of one of the buzzwords or topics that he spoke about a fair amount. Most managers, I guess, want 2 quality players in every position, and I think today the fact that Yilmaz doesn't start is pretty much confirmation that Barisic will play in these European games. He's an experienced player at that level, an experienced player in those type of games, and I agree with Gary. I thought he had a few questionable moments. The defending for the chance that Bear had for St Johnstone, Theo Bear in the first half. I don't think Barisic kind of covered himself in glory there, but equally, I thought he kind of played with confidence after the first half, and that might sound a little bit strange because it wasn't as it was a good performance without being a great performance in my opinion. But he attempted a shot, went quite close with a free kick as well. So I would suspect that he starts on Tuesday night. CGM says decent performance, still a bit ponderous in the first half. Yeah, I thought the tempo wasn't brilliant. I agree with that comment from CGM, but I thought what the difference was is Lundstrom played quite high. Allowing Goldson to step up really high as well. There was one point where Goldson, like in the opening weekend against Livingston, was flashing across the face of goal. But Lundstrom sat pretty high. I thought he was brilliant throughout. A really commanding performance in the middle of the pitch, and he must have had 3-4 shots on his left foot this afternoon. Unfortunate with a couple of them. First half the tempo. I don't know whether it's, a team obviously isn't going to be able to play full kilter for the whole 90 minutes. And it does seem that in the week that Rangers favour easing their way into games and not trying to blow away opponents as they did in the second half. I don't know if that's just the way it is, but certainly on the evidence of recent home games, that seems to be the most likely game plan, and Rangers back themselves that over 90 minutes they'll have the quality and the quality and depth from the bench, because obviously there's a real ability to change things from the bench now to go and win games of football. Daniel says St Johnstone were poor, almost like a training match. I think St Johnstone up until the second goal would have been relatively happy with that performance. And the manager said as much in the press conference. The thing that stood out to me, the slight concern from today, is that St Johnstone did manage to make up the pitch quite a lot. They didn't have loads of chances, but Rangers didn't really pen them in. I don't know if that's they're in the middle of 2 intense European games. Maybe it's as simple as that. But Kilmarnock didn't make up the pitch nearly as much last week. Maybe it's because Lundstrom was playing higher and Jack was playing higher. But yeah, I don't know what everyone else thought about that. Certainly in the first half, I just thought it was too easy for the away side, Ibrox, to kind of make their way into the opposition half, and that's not always the case, certainly. Alan gets in touch to say, hey Joshua, what a great performance. We really gelled well as a team. Matondo and Tillman were awesome. Yeah, I was very excited about both of their performances. We know what Tillman can bring by now, but I thought he was just really exciting throughout. Really, really exciting, and putting a very inventive performance, made good decisions, made the difference with the goal, allows Rangers to play through an opponent, which is so important. And Matondo grew with it. In the first half, he was quite crowded out, but I thought he was absolutely brilliant in the second half with those 2 assists. The first assist is a tackle, but in a game that sometimes lacked a little bit of energy off the ball, without that being a criticism, but I think a little bit of energy off the ball it lacked at points in the first half. It was a fantastic kind of pressing moment from Matondo to make it 2-0 for Rangers. Lots more positivity coming in naturally after that game today. I was impressed with Davies, says Bill. Yeah, pretty composed, and I guess that's. I'm not trying to say uneventful, but there wasn't. I can't think of too much that he did right, but that's probably quite good because he didn't do too much wrong. It was a dependable, composed defensive performance, and that's what you need. So I agree. I thought he was impressive in that regard, and hopefully that's the start of a long partnership with Goldson at the back. A few people getting in touch to say they're surprised that Sakala didn't come on. I think that's fair, particularly given the fact that Brian Kent wasn't involved, but Sakala hasn't really had a shout in. I don't think he's had minutes this season off the top of my head, so I guess it's in keeping with a theme so far. But what we've heard this week is that he does still have somewhat of a part to play. There's a long season, but you can imagine that if 5 subs are getting put on before you, particularly when Ryan Kent, the player in your position or normal position that you've played, isn't in the squad, it's not a great place to be. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Sakala in the coming weeks. Some more praise from Matondo, who I thought, he was excellent. A few times he made it to the byline in the first half as well, and just didn't have maybe didn't have a space to pick out a good cross. I thought Cholak's movement was pretty good in the first half. He's probably unfortunate to not get on the end of a couple more crosses. Scott Wright, who had a kind of mixed afternoon, I thought he did fine actually, without doing anything amazingly noteworthy. He put in a good few crosses that Cholak, his movement just looks a little bit more aligned to his teammates, and obviously that goal, it's a poacher's goal, and that's the type of goal that Rangers didn't have anyone scoring last season. So very important to have a player that can come in and do that. Dave says that as well. Glad Cholak got a goal, will help him and his confidence greatly. Feed him the ball and he will score. Just a few more comments will go. I'm kind of losing my voice today. I don't know if you can hear that, but I don't know if it was the PA at the start. Paul says, great to watch and no negative point today. Stuart, no hospital balls at the back today. That's right, Stuart. I think the one on Tuesday will do everyone inside Ibrox for a good while. Just see if there's anything else that's coming out. No. Tillman is full fat Coke, none of the Diet Coke rubbish from him. I don't really know what that means, but I'm going to presume it as a compliment to Tillman. He was my man in the match. Maybe Lundstrom was up there with John Lundstrom. I thought both of them were really good, and today offered a good, encouraging look at the template that Rangers can rely on domestically to get 3 points at Ibrox. And obviously it comes just before the huge game against PSV here on Tuesday night. We'll be back with all the coverage building up to that game and looking back at it. You imagine some energy was being preserved by Rangers with that in mind, but still 4-0 at home. in the second home game of the season, third league game of the season. I think that's as much as you can ask for at 3:00 on a Saturday. So thanks very much for everyone getting in touch and commenting. As I say, we'll be back on Monday morning looking back at this game, and Tuesday we'll be looking ahead to the PSV game. So join us then. You can subscribe for just £2 for 2 months over on the website. Do please subscribe on YouTube and hit the like button. That helps us out immensely. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Saturday night, and we'll speak